where you went. I'm gonna just wait for you to get back, and then I'm gonna abuse you.
So we don't have no sound at all.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Just wait for you to get back, and then I'm gonna abuse you.
I'm talking about abusing people.
Why isn't it? There it goes. Yeah. Are you on YouTube or Twitch?
Twitch.
Okay, we're good on both then.
I didn't do anything. I literally. I
Makes
didn't
no
do
sense, bro.
anything. I was like, wow. I was so confused as to what was going on.
Clip it.
Maybe they didn't hear you then. Delays in Raul saying, "Did you want it to what? Do you wanted to do what to his meat?"
I told him that he has a long way to go in the gym.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anytime, bro.
He says we all start somewhere, little bro.
Yeah. I remember my first lifts.
I respect it. How's y'all's week?
Mine's busy. I kind of mentioned it to you earlier. You remember them old days of finals weeks, how they're stressful, and I was like, dang, you're trying to get that grade saving GPA grade, you know, all that stuff, and yada yada yada, stuff that don't matter, stuff that I won't use at any other time in my life. I'm just trying to get that piece of paper to say I'm qualified.
You know, qualified and then struggle to get a job.
Well, that's why I'm kind of going for a degree that's like has a high rate of getting a job after graduation. I'm not going for like, no offense, I'm not going for like music, art, you know, stuff like like stuff like that.
I think every job market is screwed, actually.
Especially with AI coming out.
Yeah, love AI. Love AI.
But a wise person once told me, he's actually a programming professor, that said, computers are actually dumb. It's the people, the humans that tell the computers what to do. And I'm like, to an extent, you have a point. Because who makes those programs? Humans. Who types in the questions? Humans. You know, so. I still feel like it has a long way to go, though, AI and technology. Like, it's a lot right now, but it's still, there's a lot of problems with it still.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Reggie?
It's been real busy. Good week making money. Got a few more jobs to knock out, and I don't know. It's been good. Weirdly good.
Yeah, it's good. Man. You look back at it and like, dang, if I wasn't doing anything like productive or to make me better, the same amount of time would have passed. So that kind of puts into perspective, like, the time's going to pass no matter what. Might as well be grinding and making yourself better. 'Cause people are like, well, I don't know if I should do it. I don't know this. I don't know that. Just try it. Same amount of time's going to pass anyways.
I've been struggling to sleep for some reason.
I have to.
I've been on
Like
caffeine, bro.
man. Wake up to
Caffeine.
piss like 4 times in the middle of the night.
I've been going to sleep like at last night. I just stayed there laying in the dark till about 3.
You should have called me to come over. Could have
Yeah.
cuddled to sleep.
Yeah, for real.
Should have called me.
Yeah, I've been struggling to sleep too. Mostly because, like, I drink a lot of water. So I'm like, Derek, getting up to use the bathroom 4 times.
Bro, your bladder is so small anyways.
You're bad. Yeah, yours is already.
Bro, I drink
so
a lot
small,
of water. Bro, I can go through a case of water in a few days.
I mean, I don't doubt that, but goodness, you can't go.
At least I know my body's cleansing.
You can
me,
go
you
at
know?
least maybe I say an hour just because of the podcast without taking one.
I didn't. Wait, did I? I didn't take one when I got here for the first time.
That's
We're
shocking.
gonna keep it.
Actually.
We're gonna keep it on the clock because I guarantee, by the end of this podcast, you can go take a piss.
He
As
usually
for
goes
me,
afterwards.
huh?
He usually goes afterwards.
Or
man.
during if it goes on, if we have a long podcast.
True.
What was that?
Would that be caught?
What?
It's behind.
Yeah, it's kind of very.
What's
behind.
that coming from?
It's probably from. Do you have it open?
I do, but I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay, well, we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So where are we starting this time?
Hey, I didn't get to talk about my week.
Oh,
I got a
Okay.
house under contract.
go ahead. Yay! Congratulations.
I got a house under
Congratu-
contract.
I don't know what that means.
Congratulations.
What does that mean?
I have buyers, and they we drew up an offer on a house, and we got selected, and our offer got accepted. Well, we had to do a little bit of negotiating, but all in all, we got our offer accepted. So in about a month from now, we should be closing, and another paycheck will be coming down the pipeline. So that'll be great. And once we get that, we're going out to eat.
This time just
We're going
us
out to
three.
eat on Daddy Derek.
Remember how last time you took like 7 of us? Now it's gonna be like probably 3 of us, 4 of us.
Yeah, should be 4 of us. Because Tommy's birthday is like, we're supposed to close on the 8th, I think. Or the 8th or the 9th. Tommy's birthday is on the 6th. So I'm like, you're going to have a good birthday, man, but just got to wait a few days. I'll probably be about a week late. But, you know.
Gonna pull a white chicks, perhaps a salad, perhaps not. What are
We'll
the
be-
whole menu?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I want to go to Sawgrass. Take the boys to Sawgrass. I think you
Ooh.
said you haven't gone, and I said we should go together.
Yeah, I've never been.
And so might as well take you out on a date and let Daddy Derek cover the bill, and then I'm gonna get some from both of y'all.
I can get used to this.
I ain't giving shit.
You know, you putting out. You are putting
I
out.
can get used to this.
Or what?
Putting out.
Or what?
That's split the bill.
It's like
Split the
all together except him.
All right.
Except him.
Card
He's stealing.
Card declines.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. But you're putting out, bro.
Mm-mm.
Anyways, with that being said, we are in Proverbs chapter 10 today, and Matthew chapter 10, or Matthew chapter 9. Actually, we didn't finish Matthew chapter 9, so we are in we're in Proverbs chapter 10. That's where we're starting. I think I led the prayer last time, so now it's one of y'all's turn.
Ragu.
Are we going like this in order?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. All right. Dear Lord, we pray to you today just to overall give you thanks, man. I really appreciate this beautiful life that you have blessed us with. Thank you for allowing us to be able to spread your word amongst our viewers. We ask that you continue to guide us, that you continue to look after us, not only for ourselves, but for our loved ones as well. And look after the people that we are able to share your word to, Lord. We ask that you guide them, that you protect them, and that you look after them as well, Lord. We ask that you continue to bless our minds, that you continue to bless our hands, that you continue to bless our bodies as we continue down this path of life, Lord. And once again, Lord, we just want to give you thanks. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Do you mind?
Yeah, I was in middle of a prayer, dude.
Do you mind? This is why you
You've
were
been
locked up.
acting up, bro.
This is why you were
You've
locked
been
up.
acting
This is why
up,
you
and
were
I'm gonna
locked
abuse
up.
you.
And Ozzy wasn't. Why are you looking at me like that? Man.
You gotta speak to him in Spanish, bro. Yeah,
Que miras? I don't know how to say why you looking at me like that. I don't even know how to say it.
it's okay.
I don't know how to say it, bro. You gotta teach me Spanish. Yeah, you gotta teach me Spanish, bro.
He only understands
I need to teach
Spanish.
you. How about we do how about you try to teach me, and then I'll do like flashcards, and then you test me, and then for everyone I get wrong, I gotta take off a piece of clothing. For everyone I get right, you gotta take off a piece of clothing.
Ooh, tempting. When do the spankings come in?
It's a good question.
Because it's like
Can we get back to confessions? Okay,
Negative-
the number one
negative-
podcast in the world.
No more podcast.
Negative
Subscribe if you haven't already.
reinforcement.
Follow on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch.
Goodness, bro. Goodness, lock
Just
in,
get so distracted, bro.
lock
It's
in.
your dog's fault. What
It's all
is he
his
doing?
fault.
bro?
He's going to sleep now. He was just like, all
Yeah,
right.
you're reminding me. I'm over it. You should just-
I don't wanna-
Turn this
I don't wanna
side.
watch no more. All right. Well, either one of y'all want to take over Proverbs chapter 10?
You want to read or me?
It
Will
seems
you-
like a little bit long.
Yeah, I can read it.
Will you
It
be able
doesn't
to?
seem- Yeah, it doesn't seem
Oh, actually,
that
no,
long.
it's not that long. No, it's not
Yeah,
that long.
I'll read it.
Will you be able to?
Nah, bro, I don't know how to read.
Have you been going to the?
And you still been going to libraries, or was that like just a show?
No, as of right now, I haven't been going to the library. I have books that I just ordered. The Alex Hermosi books. Put y'all on.
They're just for aesthetic. You're just gonna have them.
Yeah, they're
They
decoration.
were set it up pretty nice. I like the
Yeah.
setup.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good,
I like
right?
the setup. Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
Look good.
Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother. Ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value, but righteousness delivers from death. Ayo.
It's the demons.
Ayo.
They're trying to stop us from spreading the word.
The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the cravings of the wicked. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. He who gathers crops in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps during harvest is a disgraceful son. Blessings crown the head of the righteous, but violence overwhelms the mouth of the wicked. The name of the righteous is used in blessings, but the name of the wicked will not. The wise in heart accept commands, but a chattering fool comes to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. Whoever winks maliciously causes grief, and a chattering fool comes to ruin. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up conflict, but love covers over all wrongs. Wisdom is found on the lips of the discerning, but a rod is for the back of one who has no sense. The wise store up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool invites ruin. The wealth of the rich is their fortified city, but poverty is the ruin of the poor. The wages of the righteous is life, but the earnings of the wicked are sin and death. Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray. Whoever conceals hatred with lying lips and spreads slander is a fool. Sin is not ended by multiplying words, but the prudent hold their tongues. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, but the heart of the wicked is of little value. The lips of the righteous nourish many, but fools die for lack of sense. The blessings of the Lord brings wealth, without painful toil for it. A fool finds pleasure in wicked schemes, but a person of understanding delights in wisdom. What the wicked dread will overtake them, what the righteous desire will be granted. When the storm has swept by, the wicked are gone, but the righteous stand firm forever. As vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so are sluggards to those who send them. The fear of the Lord adds length to life, but the years of the wicked are cut short. The prospect of the righteous is joy, but the hopes of the wicked come to nothing. The way of the Lord is a refuge for the blameless, but it is the ruin of those who do evil. The righteous will never be uprooted, but the wicked will not remain in the land. From the mouth of the righteous comes the fruit of wisdom, but a perverse tongue will be silenced. The lips of the righteous know what finds favor, but the mouth of the wicked only what is perverse. Proverbs chapter 10.
Proverbs chapter 10.
This one was very interesting. Right off the bat, the format, it's two sentences or two lines for me,
Mm-hmm.
a good and a bad. It's comparing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
First line, good, and then to contrast it with the second line being bad.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Right off the bat, that's what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your layout. It helps
Mhm.
highlight that.
So it probably adds a little bit to the message, like, hey, there's a reason why it's laid out like this, compared to all the other chapters we read.
It's like a compare and contrast.
Mhm.
I think this one's pretty. Yeah, this one. I think that also helps make it very straightforward. Like, it's not telling you this elongated story with different metaphors and things like that. It's just saying this is what's good and this is what's bad. This is what's wise. This is what's foolish. I think this one also is a little bit more harsh. I don't know if harsh is right, but it's very straightforward. Like, it doesn't beat around the bush in telling you exactly what is the consequence of your actions. For example, poor is he who works with a negligent hand, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a son who acts wisely, but he who sleeps in the harvest is a son who acts shamefully. Like, it tells you like right out. It doesn't try to sugarcoat exactly what it is. I think what was I think maybe yours had something about being lazy, equating to being poor.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth.
See, lazy hands equal poverty. Like it's very straightforward. Like you can't read this and be confused. Like what is this trying to say? You know, it's more like it calls you out on your BS, and it tells you outright. I think I'm not sure what stands out the most to y'all in this one, in this particular proverb.
It just makes me question. I mean, overall, I think it's pretty straightforward, exactly how you're saying. You get, on one hand, good, on the other hand, bad, right? The question that rises for me who is Solomon? I don't know who that is.
Solomon, King Solomon.
Oh, okay.
He's the king.
Where do
of
you
the
see
time
that at?
He he's the one that
Because it's the Proverbs of Solomon.
he's the one that writes these
Hmm.
proverbs.
Okay.
He was the king at the time, and known as the wisest king because he's the one that wrote the book of Proverbs. So yeah, that's who.
He was the
Solomon
one
is.
who wrote it,
Mhm.
the whole book.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And I think, I mean, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys can agree with this, but I don't know. Just even from the beginning, I feel in a way I see a lot of these play out in real life.
I was
Like,
like, I
Absolutely.
kind of had the
life
same
already,
thing. I was
You
like,
know,
do you have any real life examples that you could probably apply to this?
I could
Like, if you were
probably
explaining
apply.
it to like
Yeah.
a 5-year-old, like, hey, like, I was kind of thinking about maybe if y'all had any examples, I'd be curious to know.
I mean, I think that's what life is. I think the Bible shows the reason why the Bible is able to speak to us so powerfully is because it's not just something that happened, 2,000 years ago, and okay, now it's irrelevant. I think the fact that they say that the Bible's living and breathing, and that's for a reason because we see everything that's going on in the Bible, even if this was 2,000, 3,000 years ago, occurring even to this day. Like how like it's a saying, the more things change, the more things stay the same, and human nature is human nature. And so I think one of the things that I think reads out to me, one that stuck in my head originally was um, when there are many words, transgression is unavoidable, but he who restrains his lips is wise. And I think this is something that we've touched on a bit in previous episodes of learning how to keep your mouth shut, even whenever someone offends you, even whenever someone maybe comes at you sideways and tries to spread lies about you or criticize you in vain and not with honesty or integrity. I think someone that's trying to rage bait you, or make you crash out, remaining stoic, remaining calm. I think that it says right here, he who restrains his lips is wise, and that's something that I've been really trying to work on and fortifying my mind, because I think to some extent we've all experienced, at least in a smaller manner, maybe not even smaller, but maybe limited manner, that type of hatred, people hating on us, or speaking negatively or trying to downplay us in what we're doing. Right? I think we've all experienced that, um, but it's only going to get worse as we continue to progress, especially because what we're preaching, right, isn't the most popular thing in the world. I mean, it's a counterculture. We're the counterbalance to what the current state of the U.S. is in particular, but the state of the world is. We're that counterbalance that's trying to provide truth in a world full of lies. And so as we continue to grow and spread our reach and influence, naturally we're going to receive more backlash and more people talking negatively about us, and more people likely maybe they'll even look at some of our lives and look at our habits and maybe some of the ways that we talk and say, well, you're not really Christian because you do this, or how could you say you're a follower but you do this? nitpicking the small things, and it's how kind of how it's said in another proverb, like trying to take a speck out of our eye while they have a log in theirs, right? And I don't want us to fall into that trap. Myself, speaking for myself specifically, in allowing those people to get a reaction out of me if it's not warranted. So that's one that speaks to me the most right now out of this.
I think I experienced that. I don't know, just kind of go based off what you're saying. I think I experienced that often. I think almost, I don't want to say every day, but real often when people, excuse my language, but when people talk shit, and for me, try not to take it personal, right? Try not to take it personal. But I ask myself, would you? It's just because I'm not that way, right? I'm not like that. But I remain stoic, and I take it. I eat it. I take it on the chin. But at the same time, I understand if I were to, let's just say, attack back, I don't know. I know the words would hit, and I think I've fallen victim to doing it at least maybe a few times where I do react, and I feel in a way my words carry a lot more weight when I do say something back. So I guess to make a point out of all of that, I guess the question that I have is, do you continue to take it? Do you continue to remain stoic? And I believe the answer to that is yes. And I guess the question is, will it eventually pay off? Because I feel like in a way, maybe this is delusional, but maybe in the future, everything changes. You know what I'm saying? And they can't say the same things that they used to say, if that makes sense. Because your success outweighs their words.
Like it's undeniable. You become undeniable.
Exactly.
And I think that's been a theme of mine that I've kind of put it towards. I don't even want to say a theme, but undesirable to undeniable is something that I've been saying for a few months now, because in essence, I think it's not even someone that would be necessarily talking negatively about me or downplaying me, but it's the fact that I know that they would be treating me different if I was successful. That rubs me the wrong way. Like the man that I am now, right? I would say that who I am as a person, Derek is Derek, Raul's Raul, Jeremy's Jeremy. We are who we are now. It's just once time catches up with where we are mentally, we're going to be the same person. It's just we'll be more successful in our career endeavors, more financially free. We'll be maybe built better, etc. Gain experience, right? And I think it's kind of like if you were to meet, 2011 Elon Musk, right? And he were to tell you, hey, man, I'm starting this business and, electric cars, they're the future. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool, bro. Whatever. And then you just walk on, move past him like he's a nobody, not knowing that he's going to become the world's first trillionaire in the future, right? And for me, I think kind of maybe I look too deep into it, but I kind of like to take that towards, okay, you're ignoring me now because I'm undesirable, but that right there is only fueling me more to prove that I will be undeniable, and you're just passing up on 2011 Elon Musk Tesla stock at $13 or whatever, and you just wait and see, and I'll prove it to you in the future. I think that's kind of a thing that I've been trying to, or not trying, but that's something that I've labeled lately is undesirable to undeniable, because that's the whole point. I think kind of how you're saying.
Yeah, that's a good way to label it. I think I think the best solution to that, if any of the viewers are able to relate to it, I think you just got to take it on the chin. You got to remain stoic. Of course, you don't like it. Who does? But take it on the chin, remain stoic, continue to grind, and then eventually your success will outweigh those small words, and eventually they'll just become irrelevant, I think. And I don't know, because at the same time, you have the power to react, and I feel like in a way, if I were to react, if I were to allow myself to react, it'd carry a lot of weight, you know? It'd carry a lot of weight, and it'd be very ugly, I think.
I think it would hurt you more than help you.
Yeah.
It also depends how you react. Because when I react, I don't do it. And I used to have like very bad anger problems, and I would get mad for every little thing. I would crash out. But now it's more of like, hey, I'm gonna tell you something, and it's gonna be truthful, but it's gonna hurt just because it's so truthful. Like, for example, if one of my friends is napping all the time, and I would tell him, "Don't you ever get tired of doing nothing?" It sounds hurtful, but it's true. Maybe that'll give him a realization of like, hey, I'm always doing nothing. Maybe I should try doing something, you know?
Maybe it's intent.
So I try to do it because, I mean, I grew up in a house with just guys, you know? It was just me, my brother, my dad. We didn't have that soft motherly love. It was always tough love. Like, hey, you either do it or you don't. And I've came a long way. Like, this year I've grown so much. I've grown more this year than I have like my whole life up until this point. And it's gotten to the point where people are starting to look up to me. And, you know, I've always been the younger guy, the younger brother, the little brother. I've always looked up to other people. I've always looked up to y'all, to my brother, to my dad. And I'm finally getting the torch, and people are looking up to me like, hey, how did you do this? How do you do that? What's different about you? First thing I say is God. You know, like God did. That's something you say. God did. Like not me. I didn't do it. I just followed His calling. And you know, when they see me doing the stuff I'm doing, even if it's not verbal, someone's always watching you. The integrity, you know, if they see you going to the gym even though you're tired, if they see you getting up at 6 a.m., if they see you still making your food even though you want to go out to eat, you know, going to sleep late, getting up early, you're not saying anything to them, but they're watching you. So in a way, you're still communicating with them, and they're like, "Hey, let me try that." And I've had, you know, some people do it, like, "Hey, they start doing stuff that I'm doing, and they notice a difference. They start getting better, and then they start asking me, "Hey, like, what else do you recommend? What else, this and that?" And it just makes me realize, like, dang, I'm the one people are looking up to and asking for advice when I was the one back then asking other people for advice. Hey, what should I do? What should I, you know, should I try this? Look, watching videos. So I've gotten to the point where even if you're not being loud about it, even you know we've read in a previous proverbs, don't flaunt everything, just do it, and people are gonna follow. You know, just that aura about you, that attraction about you, and you know I've been very happy lately. Part of it because of the you know the Bible studying. That's been a big part of my life. It's helped me a lot because I've had a problem of not putting God first. I would always put other things first. Now I have my priority is God, 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 and everything falls into place. You know, my favorite Bible verse now is Matthew 6:83. Seek first kingdom of the God. Seek first kingdom of
The
God,
kingdom of God.
and everything else shall come. That's like what I'm living by right now. Cause with God by your side, you can't lose. Ain't that right, Ragu?
I think that's actually a testament towards what you were saying, as far as like what the audience can do. What I think we've all done is, if you can't necessarily just one day wake up and then boom, your dreams have happened, right? It takes showing up every day and being consistent, but being the person that shows up every day, that work you put in, the people that see the early mornings, seeing you going to the gym every day, seeing you eating right, seeing you work, that in and of itself is undeniable. People cannot question whether or not you're working hard. So I think that right there, you can think about, well, I want to be this person, I want to be that person, you know, I want to be successful one day. And until you put some sort of vision and intention behind it, it's always going to just remain a dream. But I think the moment that you decide to just lock in and just show up every single day, that right there is going to lead towards becoming that person. And that work that you're putting in is undeniable, and eventually that'll lead to you becoming undeniable.
And even recently too, I've had it happen like again where people I haven't talked to in a few months texting me, "Hey, how you've been? What you been up to? What's new? We should catch up. Let's talk." Yada yada yada. People I was friends with in the past, no longer exes. They're friends now. They're other like guys and some people that I thought I'd be friends with in the future and I haven't talked to them in a while. And they're hitting me up, "Hey, let's catch up. This and that." So they see the work, and like you said, it's undeniable. And I'm gonna do it regardless. We always talk about the trains moving whether you're on or off, and I've always made it clear that I'm at a point in my life where I am okay with cutting people off. I'm perfectly fine with that. If you want to be a part of it, cool. If you don't, cool. I'm still gonna work. I'm still gonna grind. We always talk about if you're a part of it, when I make it, you reap the benefits. But at the end, I'm starting to realize that's really not what it's about. It's about if you supported me from the beginning, then I knew you were real. But if not, then you just want you know, the shortcuts, the
Maybe just your attention.
maybe just my attention. And it's like, dang, my attention's that valuable now. When, like you said back then, people would even look double take at you. Now they want your attention. Like, hey, what is he doing different? We're the same age. We have the same 24 hours. We live in the same economy, the same America, the same world. Everything's about it the same.
Got similar problems.
Similar problems. Why is he doing better than I am? First of all, this. Second of all, the work, the ethic, the work ethic, the grit, the grind. People will say, well, I'm a firm believer is this one saying I used to disagree with quite a bit. It said just leave everything in God's hands. Just leave everything in God's hands. I've always been the type to say no, don't leave everything in God's hands. You at least got to meet him halfway. You can tell him about all your problems. You can tell him what you would like. You pray for this, pray for that, and then leave it all in his hands and keep doing what you're doing. He's going to have a hard time trying to help you, pull you out of that rut. But if you pray about it and then like, okay, God, I'll meet you halfway. You're reaching out your hand. I'll reach out my hand. If you're praying to stop smoking, if you're praying to stop drinking, well, meet
Stop
him
buying
halfway.
alcohol. Stop buying cigarettes.
Not buying alcohol, not buying cigarettes. If you're, praying about lust, if you're trying to not look at girls lustfully, stop texting them, stop following these inappropriate pages, liking these bad videos. I'm a firm believer you have to meet him halfway. I never really liked the saying of leave it all in God's hands. Yeah, put it in his hands, but he don't let him do all the work. You got to put in your share as well.
That's a good perspective. Yeah, I like that.
So that's something I've been on a lot too, because I'm sure you've heard leave it all in God's hands. It's all gonna work out.
I think I agree with you, but I feel like I've had a recent revelation when it comes to that, because everyone says put God first in everything when it comes to finances, to business, to this, to that, physical health, everything. And in a way, I felt like exactly what we're saying. I got to take initiative. I got to figure it out. I got to do this. I got to do that. But then it kind of takes me back to, in a way, of my old thinkings. Like, yeah, continue to grind, continue to improve yourself. But at the same time, just kind of go with the flow. I think don't be willing to let go. Be willing to let go of everything and anything, when it comes to money, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to anything, items, anything. Be okay with letting it go. Be okay with losing it, allowing it to be in God's hands, Now, am I going to say fuck off and just don't take care of your stuff, right? No, I'm not saying that. Handle your stuff, continue to grind, continue to work. But understand that at the end of the day, this time on earth, it's gifted, and it's gifted by God, If God's going to take something away, whether you try to force it to be there or not, whether it's a relationship, an item, whatever it may be, if he's going to take it away, it's going to be taken away.
It's all for a reason.
If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, So that's something that I currently, in a way, had a revelation about, or realization about.
Realization.
Yeah.
Do you think the saying, whatever's meant to happen will happen is true?
Yeah, in a way, I think I believe in like destiny. You know,
Or
I
do you
think
think that it happens because you let it happen?
I see. I'm cut, but I'm in between both because I always say take responsibility for every single thing that happens to you, good or bad, right? Because that gives you control. But at the same time, I also believe that God has written out our story already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like for example, if I die tomorrow, like it was supposed to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. That's how I believe in. That's how I see it.
I've had
So
that dilemma too. I've had the like, oh yeah, whatever's meant to happen is supposed to happen, but it also happened because I let it happen. You know, like I
Mm-hmm.
failed whatever because I let it happen, or this relationship didn't work because I let it happen. But then you can kind of, I guess it's a coping thing. It happened because it was meant to happen, you know. But I don't know. It's a
I
slippery
think in a
slope
way
there.
maybe it can be both.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think it's a matter of perspective, and but at the end of the day, I think it goes back to what I believe God has promised us, and it's kind of how you said, seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be granted to you. Right? God's desire for us is to experience heaven on earth while we're here. Right? But that only comes with seeking Him. If we were doing the opposite, doing what we used to do back in the day, then how are we supposed to experience that? So I think in one way, God has his plans for us, but we have to seek him first. If we don't, then we're choosing to go down this path because God gave us free will. That's his gift to us being alive here on earth, is that we have the choice whether or not we want to follow him. So while I think God has plans for us, and a life that he would like to lead us down, ultimately it's up to us to make those decisions. And I think if we're following God, right, and things still go wrong, I think that could be, you know what, I know I'm following God, I know I'm doing the right thing, this just didn't go my way, I know it's because God has something planned for me. But if you're someone who's not even living for God at all, and you're just living whatever life that you're doing, and something goes wrong, well, it's probably your fault, and it's probably not gonna. It's probably just gonna lead you more towards destruction, or maybe it is God saying, "Hey, this is a wake up call. Like, get right with me before something else happens and you pass away, and then you don't have you don't have a chance, right?" But, um, but yeah, it's a. I like the saying that it's a two-way street. Meet them halfway.
Yeah, that's what I'm on, and it kind of sucks too because the society too restricts people's dreams and creativity. Like, what I mean by that is I have this friend who is going to school for business, right? But they don't want to go for business. They're just doing that because society tells them to. But their true calling, their true passion, from what I see, is art, creativity. Like, this person can draw a picture, a detailed picture, and in a few minutes, they can. Oh man, they're like very creative, and I'm like, wow, it would be nice to be able to do what you love and what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and get paid for it and be successful at it and not live paycheck to paycheck. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You got to sacrifice your creativity and what you're good at to go into corporate, to business, or whatever, because society tells you to, and that's what's gonna make a living. So I feel like in a way that can conflict too. You're good at this, but that's in a way you kind of sacrifice it. And like, I guess you can put it in perspective when you get older. My dreams were this, my dreams were that, but I'm stuck doing this even though I hate it. And that kind of was that my plan? Was that what God had planned for me? Did I let this happen? Was it because I did this instead of chasing my dreams? Who knows?
I'm a person that if I see someone else has done it, then I can do it too. That's how I always believe it. There's people out here who have been able to balance working a 9 to 5, and I think this is one thing. Alex Hermosi says it. He says it's not your 9 to 5 that's killing your dreams; it's your 5 to 9. People be working full days, right? People be working 40-hour weeks, but guess what? You still have all those other hours to do something else. Like everyone gets 24 hours in a day. Even if you're working 60 hours a week, that's 60 hours. I mean, come on, that's not even what? That's not even 3 days. You still got over 4 days worth of productivity that you could be doing towards something else. So the way that I see it is it's not your 9 to 5 that's crushing your dreams. It's what you're doing while you're outside of work. Because most people, they have, like I said, they have these dreams, quote unquote, but they're always going to stay dreams if you don't actually put a plan down, put a plan, execute, over an extended period of time. You're probably going to fail. You're probably going to learn that it's going to be more difficult than you thought. But how bad do you want it? You know, if you want it bad enough and you do it long enough, you're going to have some sort of success. It's inevitable. Because right now, if you're that type of person that's already like, you know what, I'm working 60 hours a week. I don't got time to do none of that. Right now, if you don't start, you're never going to have any progress. If you start, you've already progressed more than you would ever have progressed over the next 30 years of your life because you never started. So that's how I am. And then that may be like, I don't know, maybe that's me being a little harsh, saying I don't believe that you could have any excuse because, like I said, I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. Even if you work 60 hours, that's over 4 days. Over 4 days worth of time every single week that you could be putting towards your dreams.
A prime example of that too, when you describe it, first person I think about is Ronnie Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
He was a cop, worked his 8 hours, and he still managed to be 8-time Mr. Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a full-time job, but he still put in the work after, you know, his job and the gym, eating, would only run off like 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when you describe that, I think of that. Yeah, he had his full-time 40-hour-a-week full-time job, but he still was 8-time Mr. Olympia. Like that just shows he put in the work. He wasn't just gonna be 8-time Mr. Olympia doing nothing.
Yeah, and I think about even us. Like we all have our lives outside of all of this. That with or without this, we're still as busy, equally as busy. We just add a little bit more to it, right? And the reason why I think we're willing to commit and invest time into this, even though we're not technically receiving any sort of monetization out of it yet, is because we believe it to be true. Like it's not like this is a pipe dream that we're never going to ever see any success out of it. This is just for, shits and giggles. We truly believe in what we're doing. We have that faith that this will eventually grow to a level that we can't even comprehend right now. We have that faith. And so knowing that, we're putting in the work. We're doing what it takes to get to that level. And it's just being consistent every single day. Do we have a whole bunch of subscribers? No. Do we get a whole bunch of views? No. But it's not about that yet. It's just about being consistent. And eventually, that'll come. We have a good product, and I believe we have the best product, right? It's just a matter of time before that comes. But if I was just sitting there at home, I was like, man, that'd be so cool to be able to be a YouTuber and, be an influencer and inspire people.
And not doing
anything about it, then maybe I'm like, oh, I'm working 60 hours a week. Raul's working more than 60 hours a week. Guaranteed. But here he is. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't like to say that as an excuse. Like, well, I have these dreams, but I have my 9-to-5 job or whatever. Because guess what? We're all putting in more than 40 hours a week. We're all putting more than 60 hours a week into everything else that we're doing. But yet we still create time for this because it's priorities.
They're just excuses.
They're just excuses. But I think, one thing that I also wanted to come back around on is I like how you said, like, to be willing to just let go and let God, right? And the way that I think about it is lately I've been seeing a lot of people on social media and it's kind of been speaking out to me a little bit more than usual lately of seeing people and they have the money, they have the fame, maybe they have the looks, they have everything right. But at the end of the day, I'm like, they're still, take that away and who are they? And I think that's kind of a points to what you were saying is like, no matter what happens, one, I'm going to be okay because God's got my back. I could lose it all today, right? But that also stems from something that you always say is like, with or without money, I'm still me. And I think that's something that I've been really like honing in on and emphasizing in my own life is I got to become the man first, and then everything else will come. But no matter what, I am who I am, and I don't need the money, I don't need the fame, I don't need any of that because I got God by my side. And so even whenever hard times do come, if I lose it all, I'll let it all crash and burn. If this were to crash and burn and us fail spectacularly, it is what it is. I'm still me. I'm still me. I'm still going to keep pushing. I'm still going to keep grinding. Some way, somehow, I'm going to make it. And even if we make it and then we fail again, it is what it is. with or without money, with or without fame, with or without any of that, I'm still me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm always about riding it until the wheels fall off. And I'm talking about when the wheels fall off. Like, you turn in the key, it won't even turn on no more, you know?
Yeah.
If it turns on and you're just driving on rims, it's still working, you know?
We'll get there one way or
Yeah,
another.
exactly.
With a patamobile.
For real.
I think of two people that said what we were talking about, which is Chente, where he says, "Con dinero or sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero." With or without money, I always do what I want. And then the famous words of Floyd Money Mayweather, "I don't make money." Or wait,
Then you were onto something and then you just lost order, bro.
money don't make me. I make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then Andrew Tate, "I'm a poor person with a bunch of money."
bro, it's like if
Like,
it's not broke, don't fix it.
all
It's
these
like,
all these ultra successful quote unquote people that have made it in life, right? Quote unquote. They all say the same thing.
yeah, bro. Like I in the gym, I had headphones, bro, and I broke them, and I had duct tape all over them. They were still playing music. I'm like, I'm not buying a new pair of headphones. They still work. Until they finally started, like, you know, the last bit of life came out, and I'm like, all right, fine. Now I'll get some new headphones, or for a car, you know, like I'm not gonna buy a new car until this car gives out on me or until it blows up. The engine, engine starts smoking. I'm riding it to the wheels fall off, or
Still driving it afterwards.
I'm gonna drive it. Just turn up the music. You know,
The music,
you won't
can't
hear
it.
nothing.
I'll pull you out of I'll pull you out of there, bro. I'll pull you
Yeah,
out of
I'm
there.
Won't
I'll
be the
save
only
you.
thing you pull out of.
Hey, yo.
That was good. That was good though. That
I
was
like
good.
that one.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we can move on. We can move on.
Matthew 10.
Matthew chapter 9. Actually,
I think
we're still in chapter 9. It's like the second.
Oh yeah,
half.
we didn't finish it right.
Yeah,
we're
it's-
like 3.
we're at
left.
14. 9:14. 9 verse 14. Do you want to read it, Jeremy, or me?
You can read it. I don't think I've heard you read in a minute.
Okay. I'll probably be able to finish it.
14.
9 verse 14. Yeah. It says the question about fasting. Then the disciples of John came to him asking, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" And Jesus said to them, "The attendants of the bridegroom cannot mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them, can they? But the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast. But no one puts a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment, for the patch pulls away from the garment, and a worse tear results. Nor do people who put new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise the wineskins burst, and the wine pours out, and the wineskins are ruined. But they put new wine into fresh wineskins, and both are preserved." Oh. I'll continue. This dude's
Rico.
This dude's snoring loud. Miracles of healing. While he was saying these things to them, a synagogue official came and bowed down before him and said, "My daughter has just died. Come and lay your hand on her and she will live." Jesus got up and began to follow him, and so did his disciples. And a woman who had been suffering from a hemorrhage for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his cloak. For she was saying to herself, "If I only touch his garment, I will get well." But Jesus, turning and seeing her, said, "Daughter, take courage. Your faith has made you well." At once the woman was made well. When Jesus came into the official's house and saw the flute players and the crowd in noisy disorder, he said, "Leave, for the girl has not died, but she is asleep." And they began laughing at him. But when the crowd had been sent out, he entered and took her by hand, and the girl got up. This news spread throughout the land. As Jesus went on from there, 2 blind men followed him, crying out, "Have mercy on us, Son of David." When he entered the house, the blind men came up to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." Then he touched their eyes, saying, "It shall be done to you according to your faith." And their eyes were opened. And Jesus sternly warned them, "See that no one knows about this." But they went out and spread the news about him throughout all the land. As they were going out, a mute, demon-possessed man was brought to him. After the demon was cast out, the mute man spoke, and the crowds were amazed, and were saying, "Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel." But the Pharisees were saying, he cast out demons by the ruler of demons. Jesus was going through all of the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every kind of disease and every kind of sickness. Seeing the people, he felt compassion for them because they were distressed and dispirited like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore, beseech the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest." Matthew chapter 9.
I didn't think we went that. I don't know. I thought we were further than that. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah, you're tripping. That's how far we were.
So,
Thoughts, comments?
first one question about fasting. Are we biblically supposed to fast?
Yeah, fasting is a biblical thing that we're supposed to do often.
What's the process of doing that? Like, is it just like not eating
There's
for a specific time? Or
there's
how did they
different
do it?
fasts. I think it really boils down to what you feel in your heart is right for you. Some people, I mean, they don't eat at all. Some people abstain from eating bad foods. Some people only eat one meal a day. They'll eat when the sun rises, or they'll only eat whenever it's nighttime. Some people only drink water. Some people do absolute fast. It's really determined upon what you think you're capable of doing and what you feel. If you're in strong prayer for something like a miracle, right? Maybe you'll do an absolute fast. You won't eat or drink anything, and instead use that time just to focus on the Lord. I think the whole point or a big point of fasting is the strongest thing that is the hardest for us to control is our hunger. Whenever we get angry about being hungry, and people will imagine you see a group of people and they're all starving and famished, and then you get one piece of meat to them, and they all of a sudden it turns into chaos and they start killing one another because they're starving to eat. I think it's our stomach that it's the hardest thing to overcome for most people. A lot of people, controlling your hunger is extremely difficult, but I think it's using that and saying, you know what, this hunger has no power over me. I'm just going to use this time to devote to God. That's whenever Jesus says that, why he says he's the bread of life, he's living water. It's not just figurative, right? I think it's literally leaning on God to fulfill you whenever you're hungry and putting yourself in that position so that you can grow closer to God. That's the point of fasting. And so fasting and prayer is supposed to be something that is a part of every believer's life. So
I've never fasted. That's why. I've
Yeah.
always thought about giving it a try though, for
Yeah.
health reasons. But
yeah, well, the whole point is just to get closer to God. That's really all it is.
I think I do it, but not intentional.
one a day, eat once a day type
No,
thing.
yeah, I've been doing that sometimes.
Mhm. Well, maybe one day you
Or I
can be
just-
intentional.
Or I just don't eat in the morning. Actually, that's something I do intentional.
I would say-
caffeine,
uh,
just straight caffeine in the morning,
think-
and that's it.
I think like the whole point is to focus on God. Like instead of eating and so that now you're focusing on prayer, reading the word, worshiping God. Like that's what you substitute eating for, is that right there. And people try to say you can fast all sorts of things. Like, well, I'm fasting my phone, I'm fasting this and that. Fasting is supposed to be food. That's what it's supposed to be. And like I said, there's different fasts out there that you can look up, and there's a whole bunch of.
Is that similar to like how Catholics do during Easter when they give up something for, I don't know how long it is.
Lent.
Lent, yeah, for how long? Like what? How long is it? 40 days, something like that. Is that kind of similar, or is it two completely different things?
I'm not
that's
sure.
different.
I think it might be different. I'm not 100% sure with how the Catholic practices is that. But fasting, it can be done at any time. I mean, you can fast. You can fast once a week if you want.
Yeah, for Lent, people will give up, like you were talking about, their phone. Like they won't be on their phone as much. They'll give up junk food, sugar, whatever, a
Mhm.
bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that people would try to equate fasting to like doing stuff like that, but it's supposed to be food.
Yeah, it's supposed to be food, and I think also like would you say that that's like a tradition?
No, it's Lent. You give up something. I don't know the reasoning behind it.
We just do it.
No,
I
because
haven't
we do
practiced it in a
we
minute.
you do fast every Friday from meat or from like red meat.
Yeah, it's just fish.
Yeah, you're only allowed to eat fish or yeah, that's it. We're not able to eat like pork, beef, chicken. So we fast from that every Friday
Mhm.
throughout Lent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that'd be tradition. That's a good question. I wouldn't know.
Well, like the reason why I say why it's tradition is like, for example, if for example, every Thanksgiving we eat turkey and ham and all that, right? Why? I mean, maybe because pilgrims, I don't know, but we do it anyways, and we just do it because that's what we're told, and not necessarily as like, okay, we're doing this because this is the meaning behind it, and you know, we're doing it right now, but you can do it anytime you want. That's kind of like why I was asking that, because like I said, fasting you can do fast. You can fast once a week.
I see. That's one thing that I've kind of had a dilemma about as well, where like, why do we just choose to give up bad habits during this time? Shouldn't we choose to give up bad habits
Maybe
anytime?
That's what I'm asking.
maybe
Yeah.
it
That's
is.
what I'm asking.
And same
maybe-
thing like with New Year's resolutions. Why are you choosing the New Year to start these resolutions? Shouldn't
Yeah,
you just
just
start
start
them
now.
anytime? You
Yeah,
know,
just start now.
I'm,
Exactly. That's
I've,
what I'm
I've thought
getting at.
about that as well.
That's what I'm getting at.
ChatGPT says people give things up for Lent because it's meant to be a 40-day period of discipline, reflection, and sacrifice leading up to Easter in the Christian tradition.
Mm-hmm.
It's about self-discipline. It's a form of sacrifice. The idea is to give up something meaningful as a small way to honor the sacrifice Jesus made. It helps people reset. It's a spiritual reflection. It builds gratitude.
Yeah, so I guess my question would be, well, then why don't you just do that throughout the
Maybe it might just be an incentive, like a little boost. Like, hey,
yeah,
you've been wanting to give this up. Here's a reason to.
here's a chance to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd just be my question is, well,
Yeah, it's a tradition.
why not do it every year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's
I
what that would be.
I
my
don't think I
question.
really participate in that. I don't really.
I haven't participated
I mean,
in a minute.
I participate in like fasting from meat every Friday. During
Even
that
then,
time.
I still slip up on. I still slip. Yeah, I forget it's Friday, and here I am eating a big ass
Yeah.
steak.
See,
Steak's
but
halfway gone. I'm like, oh shoot, it's Friday.
But
You
see,
know?
that's why I'm saying like I think that's the thing about traditions, right? Like it's not like a pact that you make with yourself
Yeah.
before God, and you hold yourself more accountable to it instead of just saying, oh, it's this time of year. Oh crap, I'm supposed to not eat red meat on this day. Well, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different whenever you choose to fast, because in that moment of fasting, you're in prayer with God throughout the entire time. And you fast with intention. Like you don't fast, like you can fast, I guess, for no reason, but that's not the point. The point is to fast so that you can grow closer to God and like I said, if you're in need of a miracle or you're in need of something, right? That'd be a great time to fast, because you're that just supposed to strengthen your bond with God, and so that's how I would say it.
So in a way, I think that is
Jesus fasted all the time, all the time.
I think in a way, when we don't eat meat on Friday, that'd be a form of fasting.
Yeah, that'd be a form of fasting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it says it's a form of sacrifice because Fridays are the day Jesus died, so Catholics make a small personal sacrifice in honor of that. It's a reminder of Jesus' sacrifice. Every Friday in Lent is meant to make Catholics pause and remember the crucifixion. Skipping meat becomes a physical reminder of that. It's about simplicity. Meat was historically linked to feasts, celebrations, and comfort. Choosing simpler foods like fish or veggies keeps the focus on the humility and reflection. And then
How many people actually know this, that practice it?
Mm-hmm.
How many people that actually know what the whole purpose behind it is,
Or they're just doing it just.
or they
'cause-
just and they only do that time of year, instead of doing it throughout their daily lives, or throughout forever, throughout their entire life. I think that's one thing that Jesus did all the time. Jesus was always in constant prayer and fasting, always. And so, but there's a reason for that, and so I think it is a part of our duty as believers to fast And maybe it's kind of like how one thing that you've said before that I've taken inspiration from is like, say you don't have a budget plan, right? Well, put 1% away. Start off with something, right? Say you never fasted before. Well, then say, you know what? On Saturday, I want to fast, and what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna eat all day until 10 p.m. And during the day, I want to make it a point to read my Bible, at least 2 or 3 times a day when I would be normally eating, and I'll drink water or something. Or, like, even if you've never done it before, I think that's a good way to get started. Just say, you know what, this day I'm gonna fast. And I want to specifically pray for this thing. Say you need a financial breakthrough, I'm gonna specifically pray for this. Or say, for example, you need some wisdom for a test. I'm gonna specifically pray for that. Or me, let's say I need this contract to go through. I need to be able to get to a smooth closing, so I'm gonna specifically pray for that. I think that's a good way to get started. And then maybe you can do that once a month. Once a month or once every 3 months. You can make it a thing and build it into your life, and it'll only help you. It'll only help you. So I think that's a good way to get started for a lot
We'll
of
have to
people.
give that a try for sure.
Absolutely.
Is there anything within these like parables that stand out to you or that you want to touch on? Just because I would hate to cut it a little short. It's just because I had to get back a little bit. Have one last busy day tomorrow, so we can kind of like pick and choose whatever stands out to y'all within these parables. I know a girl restored and a woman healed, healing the blind, driving out a demon. Those you can kind of categorize those together, group those together. It's about Jesus healing, in some way or fashion, kind of similar to the paralyzed man that was healed. Now he's healing blind people.
I think there's really two things that stand out to me, or three, or there's three parts that stand out to me. The first is in verse 24, when Jesus visits the daughter that has passed, and he says, "Leave, for the girl has not died, but is asleep." And it says they began laughing at him. And then later on, it says that whenever the three blind men came up to him and he healed them, he sternly warned them, "See that no one knows about this." But then immediately they went out and spread the news about him throughout the land. And then after he casted out the demon, the Pharisees were there saying he cast out demons by the ruler of demons. Every miracle that he performed, either people outright disrespected him, mocking him, they laughed at him, or they disobeyed him in every single one of his doings. And it says right here, the Pharisees were saying he cast out demons by the ruler of demons. So in how Jesus was always discredited, or he would perform miracles and they would laugh at him. I think how disrespectful do you think that would be for if you were standing in that room, you just see Jesus perform a miracle and people start laughing at him? I would get offended at that.
What does that mean by he drives out demons by the ruler of the demons?
They're basically saying that he can communicate with demons because he is a demon. They're saying that like a witch, right? That's what they're saying. They're accusing him of practicing witchcraft, essentially. That he communicates with demons. That's why he can control them. And I mean, utter blasphemy, right? So, but it's just like always having a nitpick at something that Jesus was saying. But I think what really hits me the most, and is the title of this podcast, Jesus continued to go through the villages and heal people. And then in verse 36, 37, and 38, says, seeing the people, he felt compassion for them because they were distressed and dispirited like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore beseech the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest. And I think this is exactly where we're at right now. And where we're at in the world, people are distressed, dispirited, they're depressed, they're anxious, they're lost like sheep without a shepherd. And Jesus feels compassion. He feels sadness about knowing that there's people out there who are so utterly lost and they don't know where to go. And he's right there trying to help guide them, but they reject him. or there's people that need to be saved, and yet no one is heeding to Jesus's call to go and be the one that delivers the good news. And so there's so many people that are missing out on the kingdom of heaven because we refuse as believers to go out and spread the news, spread out the good news, right? And when he says the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few, I think that's Jesus outright calling us out and saying, hey, look at all these lost people. Look at the state of the world right now and how everyone is in a bad place. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of work to be done. Look at how far we've strayed away from what truth, how far we've strayed away from God. There's so much work that needs to be done to get us back to a place where God is commonplace and we all follow him and people respect themselves again. People are less depressed, less anxious, more faith-filled, and more focused on keeping God in the center. But there are not enough people out there actually proclaiming the word of God. And so I think this is Jesus saying, go out. He's calling us, go out and harvest the people that need to be, saved. Essentially, they need us here, right? Jesus is no longer on this planet physically no more. He's within us, but we have to go out and do the work. We have to go out there and preach the good news and do the podcast where we talk about God and the number one podcast, The World Confessions. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, we have to be the ones that carry out what Jesus had set out for us to do. The Grand Commission. Go out to the whole world. Spread the good news. That's our duty as believers as well, is to do that. That's the whole point of us growing our faith, becoming knowledgeable in the word, is so that whenever we come across those people, we're able to guide them in the right direction instead of just using the worldly knowledge that we have, because that leads towards destruction and death and sin. So if we're able to lead them to Jesus and we're able to reference these words that Jesus has said, then we can guide them in the right direction. But we have to first grow a relationship with God. And the only way we're able to do that is by reading the word. And then once we become knowledgeable enough and we grow a good relationship with God, then we can go out there and saving people that are lost. And that's what spoke out to me the most, because I can see it. I can see Jesus just looking down at the world as it is right now, feeling deep compassion because there's so many lost people. And he's saying, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. There's not a lot of people out there actually working to try to save his children, right? So
Yeah, that was good. It's crazy how they compared him to being a demon just because he was providing all these blessings and miracles. And I even have it highlighted here. The harvest is abundant, but the workers are few. Therefore, pray to the Lord, the harvest to send out workers into his harvest. And when you put in this perspective of like people being lost, the other day I read Acts. I just flipped it open, and one of the things I highlighted was he was talking about in his generation, and he was telling people, be saved from this corrupt generation. And all I could think about was like, dang, that could apply to this generation. So every generation is a corrupt generation, and you're always going to have those lost people, and the lost people are going to outnumber the saved people, and it's just a battle of good versus evil. And it's just wild how there's not enough workers to spread his message and to be the light when that's what we need right now. Because there's a lot of good to go around, but no one wants to do it. Everyone wants to take the easy way out, the fleshly way out, the what is normal in today's society, rather than being different and being the worker that's spreading
or
knowledge.
being more selfish and just focusing on them, and it's kind of like how it's said in just the previous chapter, or not the previous chapter, but the previous verses. Is Jesus says, it is not those who are healthy who need a physician, but those who are sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire compassion and not sacrifice, for I did not come to call the righteous but sinners. Like, this is exactly what he's saying, that he's calling the people that are sick, the people that are sinners, the people that need Jesus, right? But he uses us. He uses us believers to connect with those people, with the lost people. And so if we're not doing it, then who is? Nobody. And then there's all these people that are going to hell. And it could be people that we know, our friends, our family members, our peers, people in our community, and they're going to hell because we didn't reach out to them, even though we had the opportunity to.
It kind of reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend way back when.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, imagine one of your friends going to hell because you didn't tell them about Jesus, and then they look at you when it comes time for Judgment Day. So you knew about him all this time, but you never told me. Why didn't you tell me? Kind of put it in perspective, like if you could tell someone, tell them because you could save them. And when time comes for judgment, and if they're going the opposite way that you would hope they would go, and they look at you and say, "Why didn't you tell me about Jesus? I would have let them know about him." You're gonna feel some type of way because like we're doing it, we're talking about it, and maybe sometimes they just need that one-on-one personal talk, and sometimes it can kind of be a little awkward, a little bit like, "Hey, I know you may not feel this way about it," but bringing them up just to help.
It's funny you bring that up because real quick, it reminds me of My Hero Academia. Funny enough, because one of the main villain, right? Um, he has his backstory, and just to make it real quick, he ends up being like a homeless child wandering the streets, right? And all the people that are in the streets, like all the adults and stuff like that, he's thinking to himself, someone will save me, someone will call, like someone will pick me up, someone will help me out, and all of them walk past him saying that some hero will come and pick him up, some hero will come and save him, and they're walking right by him because they're relying on some random hero that they don't know to come and save him, and no one comes and saves him, and the only one that comes to save him is the main villain of the show. So it's like it's kind of like that, right? Where you have this lost child who's homeless, who's looking for someone to come and save him, and all these people are walking by him saying, "Oh no, a hero will come and save him. A hero will come and save him," and they just walk right past him. They brush it off their shoulders. They look the other way, right? Because it's hard, maybe it's inconvenient, whatever reason, and he ends up going into the wrong hands, and he ends up becoming the biggest villain of them all. Little did people know, hey, he was a child at one point that needed saving, and no one reached out his hand because they wanted to rely on somebody else to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of
crazy putting in perspective like that.
Yeah. Anime.
This whole chapter makes me think of leadership. I think of, I mean, you go into the earlier paragraphs, and honestly, all the way up to the very last one, I think it's just Jesus demonstrating what a good leader is and how we should go about things in order to lead the sheep. And both of you guys mentioned, especially in the last paragraph, he calls to the disciples, and he says the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And he's just opening the eyes to the disciples and explaining, hey, we need leadership in this world. We need people to guide these sheeps, to be shepherd of these sheeps. Rico, gosh, bro, that man is snoring. But that's what it makes me think of overall, just leadership, and Jesus being that first person to come out and demonstrate, hey, this is how we should go about things, this is how it is done, and just calling out the disciples, hey, we need more of this. There's plenty of work to be done. And it makes me think of something that you were just mentioning, that example of My Hero Academia, where all these people were looking down at the child and just kind of passing by. Oh, a savior will come in, or a hero will come and save him. A hero will come and save him. And in a way, it makes me think of today. I think that kind of happened with uh, a lot of our present generations, maybe that's where we kind of went wrong, where a lot of people were kind of looking for guidance, looking for leadership, and we ended up turning to the wrong leadership and being led astray from Jesus, from God. And now it's the responsibilities of the disciples, God's people, to come back into the to come back into play and work and spread the word and guide these, how we're saying, these lost people, these lost sheep, into the righteousness, into God's way, you know. So that's my whole thoughts on this chapter. And like I said, I think it's good examples of how we should go about things. I mean, of course, we I don't know. You never know. I take he uses his faith a lot. Use your faith, and you'd be surprised how much faith can go and how many miracles that can create.
Faith of a mustard seed moves mountains.
Yeah.
That's what it says in the Bible. Yeah. And so I think that's our mission. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of this podcast. That's the whole point of Confessions. That's the whole point of KRUE. Is being that shepherd who leads lost sheep, and we do it in the name of Jesus and by Jesus' strength and wisdom, and it's all for the glory of His kingdom. Because clearly, whatever we've been doing has not been right. Everything's gone wrong. You know, we're in the worst state of the world, it feels like. And so whatever we've done before, it ain't working out. And the only solution I can think of is, hey, we just need more Jesus. Can't hurt, right? So yeah. Well, thank y'all for tuning into this episode of Confessions. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't already, follow us on Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, we appreciate you. Drop a comment, do all the good things, share it with your friends, family, your grandma, your cousin, your brother-in-law,
Your dogs,
your
your
dogs,
fish, everyone.
your fish, everyone. Share it with everyone. Road to 250 subscribers. Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one very soon. And yeah, fast, pray, do all those good things.